we will be learning about one of the most crucial and important topic in Pandas, multi-indexing. It is a little bit tricky, but very useful once you are able to understand the concept thoroughly. Okay, let's get started. So I'll just import the Pandas as PD, and I will read the CSV file from my local, and I'll hit Shift Enter, and it gives me a Unicode decode error. So temporarily, instead of converting this, I'll just use a hack ISO 8859, and if you are on Windows, then you can quickly convert it. Okay, so I guess now we are good to go. When I check the data frame, we can see that we have all the rows and columns here, and you can see that we have 9551 rows and 21 columns. I'll just quickly go and check with the info. I'll just quickly go and check with the info method, and you can see that here we have 21 columns and the entries are 9551. Okay, so now we want to learn about the multi-index, right? But when we check the index of this data frame, it is just a normal range index, correct? Now we would like to convert this data frame with the normal range index to a data frame with multi-index. So how can we achieve that? Okay, so what we can do, we will group by this with cuisines. Okay, so I will just enter the cuisines here, and here you can see that we have a generic data frame group by object, correct? But we want here the multi-index. So what I will do, I will just check the aggregate mean. Okay, the mean of aggregate rating. So what I will do, I will just check the mean of aggregate rating. So what I can do, I'll just copy and paste here, a little bit lazy, and when I check this, it becomes a series group by, and I can just check with the function mean. Here we have a series which is calculating the mean of aggregate rating of all the cuisines. But now here it is just like single index, right? So what I can do, I will just like assign it to a series and Shift Enter. When I check the index of this, I get a simple index, I get a normal index, but I want here a multi-index series, right? For that, what I can do, I can just go here and so now I am grouping it with first level cuisine and the second level is city. I'll get an error here. It says no access named city for object time data frame. So for these kind of errors, what you need to do, you just pass it as a list. Okay, and when you hit Shift Enter, you get this value. So here we have a multi-index. So like first level is cuisines and second level is city, and then when I check the index of this, you can see that we have a multi-index, right? So what is the conclusion of this? So we can say that a multi-index adds another dimension to your data, right? As we have seen that a series with normal index is 1D, right? But with multi-index it is 2D. Similarly, a data frame with normal index is 2D, but with multi-index it is 3D. That is the main difference, you can say. Okay, so I'll just quickly clear the output and we will move to the next part. So now on a side note, I would like to add very crucial and very important thing to understand, that when we unstack a multi-index series, we get a data frame. Okay, you can see that here we have a series with multi-index. This is level 0, this is level 1, and a value, right? So it is a series with multi-index, and when we unstack that, we get a data frame, right? So now we can achieve the same thing with the help of pivot tables. Okay, so here you can see these are the cuisines in the index, and in the column we have the cities, and in the value we have the aggregate mean. So now we will assign value as the aggregate rating. Okay, and in index we have cuisine, right? When you see here, in index we have cuisine and in column we have city. So we'll quickly assign index as cuisines and columns as city. Okay, when we hit shift enter, you can see we have exactly the same value. So when we unstack a series, we get a data frame, and we can achieve the same data frame with the help of pivot table. I think you are getting my point. If you have any doubt, you can just let me know in the comments. What I will do, I will assign it to a new data frame with dfpv. So here, what is happening? Here we have created a series from the data frame, right? And we have created another data frame with the help of pivot tables, and the name is dfpv. And this is our original data frame, right? We have now three things for simplicity, correct? And one more thing, the default aggregation function of the pivot table is mean. So that's why we are getting the mean value of aggregating here, right? Okay, now I'll just clear the output, and so now we will play with the selection of series, because this will build up the base and will help in selection from the multi-index data frame. So first I'll just get the output of series. We have two level of indexes, one is cuisine, second is city, and then we have the mean of aggregate values. So if I want this whole block, this like the cities Gurgaon and New Delhi and the mean of the aggregate rating, so what I can do, I can just pass Afghani and we can get this value. So it is for the outer index, so no issue in that. Now what I want to find the aggregate mean of Afghani cuisines in the city of New Delhi. So what I can do, in the first part I have already passed the level 0, that is cuisines, and now I can pass the city of New Delhi, right? Because after that by default it is taking all the values, but here we have only one value, so it's giving the 1.45, right? It's a series, so no issue. So here you can see that this is for the outer index, this is for the outer and the inner index, right? What if I want the mean of aggregate rating of all the cuisines in New Delhi? Like I want all the cuisines, but city will be only the New Delhi. So how can I achieve that? So here I can just pass the slice, so it will select like from 0 to end in the New Delhi. When I hit shift enter, I get like all the values, correct? So this is for this series. Now I just show you the dfpv data frame. We can achieve this, as I have already showed you, that we can achieve this by unstacking the series, correct? So if I just unstack the series, we have the same value, right? Okay, I'll just clear the output. Okay, so what we can say, whether or not your multi-index series is represented as series or a regular data frame, the selection works the same. How? If I change this value as dfpv, okay, just let me show you in another line. So when I hit enter, I'm getting this value, right? But when I apply the same on the data frame, I'm getting this value. I just need to like clean this series. I can just drop an A. Okay, so now you can see that we have the same value here and here, correct? So what we can say, I will reiterate once again, whether or not your multi-index series is represented as series or a regular data frame, the selection works the same. The same applies for this also. Okay, I'll first, okay, the value of this is 1.45, and when I check for this, the value is same, right? Similarly for this, the value of this is, you can see here, and for this also the same. Hope it's getting more clear. You have to immediately practice after this session. I'll just attach this notebook in the description, so you can just go and practice it for like 1 or 2 days. You will be good to go. Okay, now we move to the data frame. Okay, so now as we have already covered the series, so now we should move to the data frame. This is our original data frame, right? So what I'll do, I will just quickly set the index. Quickly set the index as cuisines and city. So yeah, so we have it, and now when I check, I'm still not getting it. So what you can do, you have to pass the in place. Yeah, so now we are good to go. Okay, so it's a little bit off, right? So it's not looking so good. So what we can do, we can just sort this, right? So with df dot sort index in place true, and now when we check the value, it becomes more clear, right? You can see here it is first sorted in the cuisine index. You can see here from A to Z, then it is sorted on the city. So you can see it's from Z and M. So it's like that. Okay, so now we try to understand the selection in DataFrame. Okay, so first of all, I want all the values of Afghani cuisine, like all the values in the sense all the columns, correct, of the Afghani cuisine in all the cities. So it's very simple. You can just pass df dot loc, and you just have to pass the outer index Afghani. So you can see you have like all the value, but when you have multi-index and you are doing anything other than just selecting the outer level, you are going to pass in indices as tuples and then the name of column. So let's see how. Let's clear the output, and for example, I want like the Afghani cuisine in the city of New Delhi, right? So what we will generally do, like we will quickly enter this. So we are getting the value, but you can see here it says performance warning, right? How do we resolve that issue? So means like we want all these values, like we want to select the cuisine Afghani and the city will be New Delhi, right? So how we can achieve that? I'll just copy this and paste here. So the first is okay, I want the cuisine which is Afghani. Generally before comma we pass the value of rows, and after comma we pass the column, correct? Generally it happens. So we want all the columns, so we can just enter the column, correct? But here I want two indices. What you need to do, you need to just pass in it as a tuple. So first is Afghani, fine. Then second, I also want New Delhi. So I hit shift enter and you will get the value. But here you are getting a warning, that is performance warning. So in order to resolve this issue, what you can do, you can just pass it as a list. The first index, pass it as a list, and when you shift enter, it's all sorted. Because sometimes you have to pass multiple values here, so it will not get confused. So that's why. Okay, so now another example, like what I want to check that which restaurant in the New Delhi has the cuisines as Italian and Mexican, and I also want to check whether these restaurants has the table booking or has the online delivery. Okay, so let's check that. I'll just copy and paste it here. So what was my question? I want to check which restaurants in New Delhi. So New Delhi is fine. Cuisine, like in the level 1 index, in the first index, we want to check the Italian and Mexican, correct? In New Delhi, yes, fine. Now we want the restaurant name. So the column name should be after the comma. So correct. For one, it is fine. If I just want the restaurant name, it's fine. But I also want the, like, whether these restaurants has the table booking and the online delivery. So if I just like pass this as a comma and another, if I just pass this as a comma, it will give me an error. So what I can do, I can just pass it this also as a list. So when I do this, now it's fine. So And restaurant name 28 Capri Italy has the table booking. Yes, it's in New Delhi. Yes, it has the Italian cuisine. For the Mexican cuisines in New Delhi, the restaurant name is Twisted Tacos, has no table booking. And I also wanted to check whether these has the online delivery. So you can just add in this list of the columns and it will give me a nice and beautiful results. So this is how this works. So now let's move to another example. Okay, so we will find the average cost for 2. Okay, so we will find the average cost of 2 for the restaurants in Singapore for all the cuisines. Like we want to list all the cuisines. So I'll just copy and paste it here. What I want average cost of 2 in the city of Singapore for all the cuisines. Okay, so for the city I will change it as Singapore and I want all the cuisines, correct? So what generally we will do, we will just pass as this column, right? So it will select all the cuisines in Singapore and I want the average cost for 2 and the restaurant name. So when I just try to execute this, it says invalid syntax. I don't know for what reasons it is here, but it is what. So instead of this colon, we have to pass here slice as none. So when we do this, we will get all the cuisines in city of Singapore, and so we can check that these restaurant, the average cost, it's definitely in dollars for sure. So if you also want to check whether this is in dollar, like in which currency, right? So you can just check like which column is for the currency. You can check here, right? And you can go and pass another column as currency. So you can see here it is Sing dollars, correct? So this is all for this multi-indexing. I hope all your doubts has been cleared. If you have any doubt, you can connect with us on any social media platform like Telegram, Instagram, or Twitter or LinkedIn, and you can even drop your doubts in the comments. We will definitely happy to help you. So we'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye, take care, have a nice day.